Gotham Investigations, and I'm your host, Jeff Giordano. Cybercrime, the fastest growing crime in the world and the most impact on any individual and your business. What can you do to protect yourself against the invisible predator? Stay tuned for this episode and you're going to get your answers. This is Gotham Investigations, and I'm your host, Jeff Giordano. Giordano Protection Services, your leading private investigation agency. We are contacted on several cases regarding cybercrime. Cybercrime is the world's fastest growing crime in the world. We have a special guest on our show today, and he is who we always hire to help us on these complex cases. Javier Dugarte, welcome to our show.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you for having me and always, at your service and helping your customers here in South Florida with all their cybersecurity issues and crimes.
Javier, if somebody wanted to contact you directly, what is the name of your website?
The company name is GoCloud, and the website is www.gocloudinc.net. I mean, they can find it anywhere. Just put GoCloud and in the Google search, and you'll find our company.
GoCloud is in G-O.
Yes.
Fantastic. Now, we work several cases together, and we find a lot that individuals are less protected than sometimes companies that have insurances and stuff like that. Explain us your experience and how you could protect the common individual that may have some type of ransomware or something on their phone, that they're being followed by their wife or husband, and they're receiving all their text messages or emails.
Before we even go there, guys, I mean, I just got to tell you all that it's not a matter that you're going to get hacked. It's a matter of when. By a family member trying to know what you're doing, or your spouse, or partners, or we have found different type of crimes. So outsiders, you can go to a Starbucks and get hacked in that time. So there's plenty of measurements that we take in softwares and the specialty that we have, to help you, protect yourself from your mobile devices, from your computers, especially when you go out there and you use your laptop or your iPad and you're connecting out in all these unknown Wi-Fi's, and that is a prime target.
So when you're saying like Starbucks, there's actual predators that go to these places and sit around waiting for you to log in? Absolutely.
So one of the things that is very common out there, you're going to see, you go to a Starbucks and then you see two Starbucks Wi-Fi. So that happens is you click the wrong one. Same website comes up, same knowledge comes up, you put it on, they own you.
And when you say own, they go into your phone,
they have access immediately to your entire, information that you have in there, meaning they already loaded at that point whatever they need to reload to watch and see what you have or don't have.
Now, are they able to get like bank passwords, bank accounts?
The way it works is they watch you, okay? They can see everything that you have. So when you're getting to the bank, right, you go to your bank website and you're starting entering your information, that's when they see it. And you see that, the passwords are hidden. Well, they know the passwords because they can go back inside your cell phone because they read your patterns when you are sleeping, when you're not using it, and they do it again. And they get to see what your passwords are and all these scenarios.
So we had one case where the woman that hired us actually had more information than we were able to get. I mean, she knew he was ordering prostitutes. She knew where he was going from maps on the phone. And every time he would get a text message, she would get it on her phone. And also, she would see exactly what she's paying for these girls and what websites he was going to. How was she able to do this?
So we, especially with attorneys, professional firms, engineers firms, we worked a lot with them. And one of the things that we do extremely well, doctors, offices, and hospitals, we protect their mobile devices, right? And what does that do? It's called mobile device management. And we pretty much encapsulate their cell phone. And without specific procedures, you will not be able to download any information. And we will encapsulate all of these items that they don't want the spouses to see or anybody to see or a cyber attack to see. So we encapsulate all those apps and information, even locations, so they're not able to see anything.
So some of these apps that a lot of kids are using, like TikTok and stuff like that, that they're saying could be dangerous, how would you protect against those?
We keep them
apps?
out of the capsule. So you have what we call your business, right? Or your personal or whatever you want to call it, encapsulated in one place, and you can have the other apps outside of that capsule. And that's what keeps the two differences between the two of them. And we can actually, the device can be fully managed and blocked from the entire outside world.
Now, is there a way to phish your phone just by calling it? People get all these unknown numbers calling it, and then they're silent on the other end sometimes. Is there like a time frame that you should hang up, or is there no relationship at all?
No, that's what it's called, social engineering. Social engineering is the phishing, that they do. A lot of these things, sometimes they don't cut up on time in the other side to answer when you answer, to go back to the phone and talk to you. So that you don't have to worry so much about that, as much as the social engineering that come from all those weird texts that we get, or people saying, "Hi, I'm Mary, I'm John," and you do not click on any URL or links that you get sent to people you don't know. And it's when you see weird text messages from people that you don't know, don't click on it. And the reason behind it is that means that probably they've been hacked and they've been sending it to others so they can expand their horizons on the many people they are affecting.
So what is the purpose of individuals on, like, example, Facebook? I see it all the time where they say, "Oh, I've been hacked," and they open up a duplicate account with your photographs and pictures. Why would somebody go through that trouble to do that?
Well, so the social engineering, that's exactly what that is. So if think about it, in the day-to-day, somebody opens something on Facebook, right? And you follow one of your friends. And your friend now is posting something different and saying a specific question that they need to be answered, or whatever that might be the case. And you come and you answer that question for them, or you click on a link that they put on Facebook. Now they own you. Now they got into you. So that is why they try to do these things. Not because they just want to take your identity in Facebook and do that. Also, they're looking for, did I get a politician on Facebook? Did I get an actor on Facebook? Did I get somebody good? So what happens at that point? That other person, right, that has a public image, instead of dealing with the fact of this person can destroy my image out there, offers money, for this other individual to get out and remove it.
So when we look at businesses, law firms in particular, I have a lot of law firms that we work for directly and that we've introduced you to, and a lot of them get hacked. Why do these hackers particularly kind of vision these law firms and kind of go after them in numbers?
Well, the number one law firms they attacked is title companies, title law firms. Why? They have money. They do transactions daily. They, is wire transfer. So if I hack a big law firm, title company, and I see in their emails, because I see it, I deal with it on a daily basis, get a lot of calls for that. The phishing email goes through, and in some point they're watching you, and at middle of the night, they can tell the client the wiring information has changed from the attorney's email, and say, send it to this one. And it has happened multiple times. No, it happened thousands of times.
So what do you do for that law firm? How do you go in and put protection for them?
Well, you got to put all the protections on their email, right? All the proper software and information and email protection. You have to go and protect their computers and make sure that it's clean. You put a monitor 24/7 in our security operating system. GoCloud has a 24/7 security operating system watching everything that is outside the norm, right? We will see anything that is outside the norm in your computer on a 24/7.
Now, on these emails, I was hacked once myself, and they sent out like thousands of emails, which I would, if I tried to do that, I would probably get something kicked back because it doesn't allow me to send that out. And then I had phone calls from people that I didn't speak to for since I opened the account like 7, 8, 10 years ago, whatever it might be. Judges, everybody was getting it. How in the world do they go in and capture all these? I wouldn't even be able to sit at the computer and figure this out. And I have access to my own computer.
Well, technology can be extremely helpful for business, but it can be extremely dangerous for business and individuals. So everything you do in your computer is captured, right? And all the email addresses you have, you can see it. So they create, after they hacked you and they see in your email account, right? They get to all those email addresses and they get it and they put it back and they start sending massive emails, to all of them on your behalf, if they have your email. Or, they start sending it on their behalf. I'm gonna change the subject for a quick second on. So I'm sure that all of us have received an email from somebody saying, I have full access to your computer. I have your nude pictures. I have you with your mistress, or vice versa, or I seen you in your camera masturbating, or I seen all sort of things. I seen all the porn sites that you get on. I'm going to expose it all to you, your family, and all your friends. And 99% of it is all BS. Because if they wouldn't want you, if they would have had control of your stuff, they would have blocked your computer completely to really get your attention for real. So that's something that you get on a daily basis. But if you would have the right software involved, right? Like we would have blocked that. And it would have gone to your quarantine and you go look at it and say, oh, that's all bullshit,
Well, several times this happens to me, and it almost caught me one time where I'm calling the number like a dummy as well. I go to research something and I hit a phony website, and then all of a sudden alerts go off, my computer's blowing up, I can't freaking sign out, I can't X out, I'm trying to smack the heck out of it, I'm going nuts, the sound is driving me crazy, I'm trying to turn the volume down, call this number, alert,
Yep.
you've been hacked. What's going on with that?
If you call, right, most likely they're gonna say, okay, give me access to your computer. Go to this site, give me access, and they install software. And at that point, they can see it all.
So it's very hard to educate people out there that are naive and they don't believe that they could become a victim sitting in their own home without an intruder coming inside. But that this is pretty much an invisible intruder that we're talking about.
So this is a new, the past 3 years, it has been a new move, okay, in cybersecurity. And one of them is security awareness training. Do we need to go back to school at our age? Most likely. Otherwise, we're going to face a lot of these things to happen because of social engineering, okay? And it teaches you, right, through these short trainings that we provide to all of our customers that take our cybersecurity packages. We train them on 5-minute videos, that they have to take on not clicking on this email. Don't look at this. Don't do that. And what we do also in the meantime, we send them fake emails sometimes to try them. So if you click on that email and you follow those steps, we say, you got to go back to training. this was a testing email. So a lot that had to do also with law firms, medical practices. We help them because they hold your private information. And we need to make sure that any of these employees on a day-to-day basis, right, are doing the right steps for them to protect. So can you imagine if a large law firm, they manage these massive cases, gets hacked, and a hacker takes all that information and puts it out there?
It would be disastrous, and you faced a few of those situations as well.
They can be out of business.
Now, we've had major organizations contact us. One of them was a hotel company, a big hotel company, where they actually went in and they held their, I believe, accounts receivable hostage. And what they did was they were requesting Bitcoin. And the problem arises when you just can't call a local police department because they have jurisdiction. You don't know where you're even sending the money to. Obviously, it's probably an overseas account. Now, most of the time, they hold true to their word, meaning you give them the Bitcoin, you pay. In this case, they paid the ransom. It was reduced, and they received the items back because they want to do this again. They want these predators want their recognition of, pay, and we'll give you what you want, type of thing. How can you possibly prevent something like that in these big organizations from happening? I mean, this is disastrous.
Well, all these organizations, I mean, in a day-to-day basis, first of all, they have to go through the steps of having security awareness training, and cybersecurity training to all of their employees, having all the proper steps. And a lot of the companies don't understand that having an antivirus is good. No. So I'm going to go back right now to the general public, what cybersecurity is. So imagine a cake, a 10-layer cake or 20-layer cake. So you stacked different layers of security inside that organization. What it means is you stack 1 layer, 2 layers, 3 layers, 5 layers, depending on how important the information is to you. And you got to ring fence some of these specific applications or folders or information that you need to stay in business. That's the key. At that point, you were able to succeed. That doesn't mean that somebody within inside your company, because of social engineering, is going to open the door for somebody else because you click in the wrong, link. At that point, that's why we work so hard on the security awareness training. And guys, security awareness training for one person is as low as $3 a month per person. It's not a big deal.
And the precautions that you take for that can be, the ramifications if you don't train your individuals can be disastrous.
That is correct.
And cost-worthy, because what people don't realize, as I said, you just cannot contact the local police department. They're going to say, we don't have jurisdiction. We don't even know who took that. Who did you send the money to? We don't even know. So now you have a federal crime, FBI, because it goes across. It's wire fraud and everything else, and basically stand in line, because if it's not for millions of dollars, the FBI and the federal government has a threshold. There's millions of these cases, and they just do not have the time to investigate all of it.
Yes, and I'm going to going back now, you mentioned this, that is very important for every business out there, is, I don't know if everybody understands that the banks, right, for the personal account, they're liable. They'll give you your money back. Now, for businesses, it's zero liability. What it means is, right now, 75% to 80%, the bank has been saying, yeah, I'll give you your money back, okay? But pretty soon, because the losses that they are happening are so huge in the amount that they are growing, it's going to be a point right now that is going to say the bank, because it's when you sign in the bank for a business account, they're not liable. They don't have to give you the money back because it's your own negligence that you didn't protect yourself.
So how do you compare, say, a company like GoDaddy? A lot of companies, small companies, even like myself, have a GoDaddy accounts that we do our websites with, and then we have our own, website guy that goes in and does it. But they also say, well, we'll protect your emails for X amount of dollars. How does your company compare to like GoDaddy, and what extra precautions and bang for your buck do you get with going for somebody like you, which I have myself, because you're just the man. You're the man with the answers. You're the man with the plan.
Thank you.
You're the man
I
that
try.
saves money, and I don't want to go through with what I've gone through myself with the emails before.
I
Because
try.
not only if you have a business account, it gets shut down. It gets shut down for 2, 3, 4 days, and you're pretty much
Blacklisted.
screwed. Because you're blacklisted, like Javier is saying here. And what does your company do different than GoDaddy?
So think about one of the things as by the way, the company now, this year will be our 10 years in business. So it's been...
How many people you have working for your company?
Right now, we have about 57 people. So it's growing slowly. We're there. We are, very happy to be in business in the South Florida market. But we manage companies internationally. They have their software here, and they're in some of the data centers, how they manage themselves internationally. So we do a lot of their work here for them. So, but going back to that, how do we compare to them? It's not comparison, okay? GoDaddy is just a domain providing email and things, and that's it. And you think that when you call GoDaddy, I got hacked, I say, well, that's your own problem. We help you from our end, but whatever happened to you, they're not going to do anything.
Correct.
So, from our perspective, it's a complete different business. So if you go and from the email perspective, let's say you get the email through GoDaddy, but you tell us, I need you to manage it. We can put all the proper softwares and information in our security operating center to watch your email 24/7, and show you how do we put the emails in quarantine. Where do you go to see if it's good or bad? And you say, what's the quarantine? Well, imagine a big, huge, massive, worldwide sandbox, right? And all these informations and emails and bad of millions and millions of people goes to the sandbox. But the sandbox also learns as bad emails come in, because these hackers send 1 million emails at a time, right? And they're starting to understand what's bad, what's good. So start scrapping out all the bad stuff. And this has already been going on for 20 years, 10 years, so they're pretty smart.
How do you recover data? Because I know a couple of clients that we referred them to you lost their data, and you were able to recover it, especially a couple law firms and stuff.
Different ways. So one of the things that we do with law firms and healthcare is when we take ownership of their IT, we make sure that they're in compliance. And one of the things that compliance really look for is, do you have a business disaster recovery plan? What it means is you lost your data, your main data here, right, because somebody hacked it. Do you have a clean copy here that works? That's really what we do, on that perspective. And also, is a disaster happened, meaning something happened in Microsoft, in their data center, right? Just so you know, guys, Microsoft does not guarantee your data. You think that you have it in your license for all your emails, and you have it in SharePoint or OneDrive, the Microsoft come in, yeah. If Microsoft loses that data, they tell you, we're not responsible for it, because something can happen. So what we do is we copy all that data, and we have it somewhere else outside of the Microsoft world. So where we can have always a second set of data available for the customer.
So what about external hard drives? Is there a way, if you have it connected to your computer, all your information, is there a way that they could even get into that and screw it up?
They can't, because when you're in your computer, they have access to anything that is connected to it. So now, let me ask you. If you run your business, right? You have a multi-million-dollar business, you do extremely well, you have multiple employees. Would you risk your business on a $50 external hard drive?
No.
That's your answer. It's that simple.
But a lot of people,
they do.
You know,
they think that data is good.
Because they're uneducated. They never met somebody like you. They're naive. They don't know the crimes. That they don't keep in tune with the world and the trends of crime. They don't watch American Greed. They don't watch Gotham Investigation episodes to see all these crazy, fraudulent things that are happening and going on out there. Now, we had a particular case that we called you in on, and it was a missing person that unfortunately he ended up blowing his head off and committing suicide.
That's right.
Over on Northeast 2 Avenue. The family wanted closure. Case starts out sometimes small, and then it turns out to other things where they loaded us up with like 3 or 4 different computers, and you were able to go in. You were amazing. Get access to that. We had permission from the family, and we brought them some closure, not telling our audience due to client privilege, kind of like a client attorney privilege. They have client private investigator privileges, but you were just phenomenal. Anyone could use you for that as well if they need to get into their own computer. Sometimes you forget your passwords or anything. You have so much important information on your computers. So what would you tell all the viewers and listeners out there? I'm starting out maybe on my own. I just became 18 years old. I'm getting in a job. I'm getting in the workforce. I'm getting in a computer, and as well as a small company or a big company that's just going into business for themselves. What would you recommend for them as far as cybersecurity?
Cybersecurity products today and doesn't have to be expensive, guys. I mean, listen, and I'm gonna. I come from the corporate world myself. And the reason that this company was created is to provide professional compliance IT to the small, medium-sized businesses at an affordable price. And you say, why? Why? Because I live the fact that professional IT was extremely expensive and unaffordable to most of the businesses, the small, medium-sized businesses. They couldn't afford it. So I created this company to provide that type of service, right? And we've been extremely successful, and that is why you need to utilize what's out there to protect yourself. If you start your company in the wrong foot, I can assure you they will not be good. If you are a couple of attorneys starting, and then you get a couple big cases, and when you get those couple big cases, the first thing that happens is you get hacked and all get exposed, your firm is not going to go anywhere, and your reputation is not going to go well, because you're going to be all over the news. It's going to be bad, and you don't want to start like that. For that small investment that really is, people scared to talk about it because they think it's expensive. It is not. It is extremely affordable. It is, it's just doing the right thing for yourself. Sometimes you say, we're just going to go out there and do it and not going to think about what's behind it. But you got to think about all those things that's behind it from the IT perspective, because believe it or not, the day-to-day person, right, also the business individuals, we all rely on one thing. We have this thing in common, all of us, in this time, is technology. We all have to embrace it. Even if you're 80, you're 90, we all have it.
And just to recap the case that we're referring to, the individual that committed suicide, it was involving, he lost all his investments through cryptocurrency. Everyone now is seeing on the news, they're seeing on channels, cryptocurrency accounts just going to zero with companies that are just going out. How much do you see, and what advice do you give to people that are in the crypto investment market
Well,
regarding cybersecurity?
I personally myself was in crypto market. I invested, quite a little bit of dollars in it. Is it coming back? We don't know. So you have two choices: get out and just forget about it, right? All your losses, write it off, or stick to it, and see if it grows. Do I think in the future will be an opportunity in it? Absolutely. It's just how technology is working and how it's related. I mean, some countries right now are creating their own cryptocurrency, in different parts of the world. So is it going to happen this year? No. Is it going to happen next year? Probably not. But this is something that we're probably going to see 10 years from now. And I'm going to tell you a quick story that is very interesting. 10 years ago, when I said I'm going to open a company called Go Cloud, even IT people was telling me, you're crazy. People never going to go to the cloud. They want to have their servers and they want to have their data here. And everybody told me that. And I said, I disagree. I think things are going to move in that direction because that's just how technology works. And all the big boys are going in that direction, meaning the Microsoft of the world, the Amazon of the world. And look at what we do now. We even order our groceries from Amazon. 10 minutes, your groceries are right in front of your house. Yep. It's amazing.
It's amazing, no doubt. And I think technology is only starting.
But it's amazing as technology is, it's so dangerous because you have to deal with, if you're not protected, your credit card information is there, everything is there.
If you think about going back 20 years when you were a kid and 10 years ago when I was a kid, you can imagine how technology developed since then. So as of today, when I say technology is just developing, you can imagine 20 years from now where we're going to be.
I remember the type of computers that I used to have when they were horrible. They were heavy. It was not color. It was just, now is amazing what we're living on. I mean, cars that drive by themselves,
And obviously your company, all your technicians, you keep up with current trends and new devices coming out and threats that are out there and companies that's been hacked. You kind of look at that, you investigate why it happened?
Yes, deeply. And I'm going to tell something to a lot of people out there. So, and this is a good example. When you go to your doctor, right, and your doctor said, I see something on your heart that, doesn't look good. You go to you go to your heart doctor, cardiologist. You have to have surgery. You go to a heart surgeon because a cardiologist is not a heart surgeon. So it just goes different layers, right, of different type of doctors. Let me tell you something. If you find an IT person, and I'm going to tell that to everybody out there, it tells you that they can do it all, run. Run, run, run. Why? Technology is going so fast. Cybercrime, cybersecurity is growing so fast that if you know it all, it is impossible for one person to know it all. That's why my staff keeps growing, because we have different sectors of expertise for everybody, to resolve their problems. And we don't know it all. We just keep growing with it, as we go. And different people that specialize in different things.
And that's part of Gotham Investigations, what we do. I don't claim to know it all, but former law enforcement, we have fraud investigators, we have former homicide investigators, we have former robbery investigators. So when we work for these defense teams, we have weapons experts. So that's why it's important to have a vast network. So Javier, let me ask you, with all the theft going on out there, the major money these corporations are losing, and even small businesses, is there any type of cyber insurance out there that we can get?
Yes, you can actually work on with a lot of insurance company to get cybersecurity insurance. It's a little tricky. So this is what's going on. This is something that about 3 or 4 years ago started to being $300 a year. Now it's $3,000 a year, or $2,000 a year, or $1,500 a year, depending on the size of your organization. Sometimes it's low also, as in the under 1,000, depending what you do and what that is. But what's important is people, right? All these business owners are going ahead and saying, when they get the questionnaire from the insurance company to get the insurance, they say that they have all these protocols. Okay, the insurance company is saying, okay, I get it. You have it. Here's your policy. Now you get hacked. You lost money. You put your claim. What do you think the insurance company is going to do? They hire companies like us to go and do an audit, right, to everything that you said in that application, so we can say, yes, you did it, or no, you did not. So 90% of the companies that said they had everything in place for cybersecurity, right, that the insurance company require, they are not. And they are not paying, the insurance companies are not paying what, the claim.
So that's why it's so important to hire a company like yours from the beginning process, where you can, look at the application, you can verify these are things that are in place, get your insurance, get your cyber insurance, and now not only are they covered, but they can have peace of mind that if something does happen, their application was done properly, they have a professional company backing them up, and a professional company that not only backs them up, works for insurance companies to find defaults in other companies.
That is correct, Jeff. And I'm going to go one more thing. So if you have any FTC compliance, right, or you are anywhere between connected to the IRS, accounting, tax preparation, all of that, you just got a letter from the IRS of all the things that you have to do for cybersecurity. Otherwise, they're going to give you X amount of time to do it, and you will not be in business.
Gotham Investigations, Cybercrime, the largest and fastest growing crime in America and the world, with the invisible predator. Don't be a victim. Call GoCloud. They're going to straighten out you and your business today. Stay tuned for our next episode. Are you a fan of our show? Do you like our show? Then comment, hit the like button, and subscribe, or you might be the next one we investigate.